all season. My word for them has been resiliency. They just have refused. They have literally fought the wheels falling off the bus, even though they're supposed to. And it's just like, yo, it puts us in such a happy place, especially with the Detroit Lions win and the Tigers just clawing their way right back into wild card contention. That's why I put Detroit Tigers running wild, man. It's been an awesome time. But really quickly, guys, thank you, chat family, for being here. You guys are the most important part of this entire Woo Crew thing. Go on ahead and smash that like button. Be engaging. I'm telling you guys have to woo Broder today in the chat. So we got multiple giveaways. If we reach the giveaway goal, the like goal, you guys get Lions merch to give away. During this Tiger segment, though, be engaging with Broder. He may ask you a question, or you may just do something that just in the chat that just impresses him, and you get the Tiger shirt that he has on his body from the merch store, though. During our Pistons segment, the same thing. He will be engaging with you. You will get free merch. Let's rock today, guys. Let's rock. And you guys already got some compliments on your shirts today, JB. Yeah, they said T-shirt Sam. And they said clean shirt, Broder.
Thank you.
Let's rock, man. I'm fired up, man. We got to get back into this Detroit Tigers conversation. It is very relevant. These guys have made themselves relevant by the play they've done on the field, and they've completely shut out every single narrative. And it just seems like Hinch knows exactly what he's doing with this team. And we've heard a lot of other different narratives, Broder, and you've kind of teased that up before we went to break. A lot of different things, especially about the trade deadline surrounding Mr. Jack Flaherty, man.
You know what? As much as I would love to pontificate myself, Matt Broder, you are chomping at the bit. Would the Tigers have been even better if they didn't trade Jack Flaherty?
All of this talk about regretting trading Flaherty at the deadline is just nonsense. It's nonsense. We'll start at the end, though. If they make it to the playoffs, would it be nice to have a Skubal-Flaherty duo to start? Sure, it would. But it would also be nice to have Juan Soto in right field and I was about to say Derek Jeter playing shortstop. I think you probably have a problem with that. But you know what I'm saying? It's just a bunch of hypothetical nonsense. There was a 100% chance that they were trading Jack Flaherty at the deadline. 100% chance, regardless of their record. This was planned from the day one. This was planned with Flaherty from day one. He knew what was happening when he signed it. They were trading him all along. At the deadline on July 30th, they were 52-57, 14 games back of the AL Central, 7.5 games back of the wild card with 7 teams in front of them. You have to sell at that point, and you have to sell your one-year contracts. You also have to sell your one-year contract that's a pitcher, and that's arguably the most desired starting pitcher on the market. Jack Flaherty, there's this narrative now going around that Jack Flaherty, he wanted to sign an extension. His friend, his friend's mother's cousin's sister told some insider that he wanted to sign with Detroit an extension. Detroit didn't offer it to him. And, but he can come back in the offseason. Oh, no, well, he's burnt. You don't get back with your ex-girlfriend after she breaks up with you. He's not coming back. He's pissed the Tigers didn't want him. That's idiotic. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. A, it's not true. And B, if Jack Flaherty wanted to sign with the Tigers long-term, wanted to pitch in Detroit long-term.
Say it.
You want Detroit to be set up the best for the future. Mm-hmm. You welcome a 2-month vacation to Los Angeles to pitch for a World Series, to get 3 prospects in return. And yeah, I said 3. I know the trade was for 2. It was for Sweeney. It was for Lorenzo. When you're on the phone with these GMs, it was also for Ricky Vanasco, who was traded from the Dodgers for cash considerations. It's all part of the same conversation. One just happened first.
Yeah, and you know what? You were fired up, man. It was so well stated. We can tell, too. As we were kind of doing the open, Broder looked like a guy that was just walking to the scorer's table to check in, despite his coach saying, "Where you going, bud?" Hey, and you absolutely brought the heat. I'm so glad that you've been on top of this because early on, you got a lot of flack, a whole lot of flack.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now, especially since this is actual regular season stuff, victory lap that mug, man. I love it. We're building a platform here, and we're telling the people that we're a crew that we believe you can depend on what we do. And if we get something wrong, all of us have sat up here and said, you know what? I got it wrong. Killian Hayes, I sat up here and I apologize to my man Flannel. Yep. I got it wrong. But you know what? We got a couple super chats in the chat because our chat is always on one. Shout out to Randall Smalls. He said Avila had old school theory stockpiling pitching. When they develop, trade some for hitting. So that's what happened. $10 super chat from Randall Smalls. And we had another one in the chat as well from Dante151, another $10 super chat. Montero's knuckle curveball is so freaking nasty that it was unhittable last night for the rookies. And no, the Tigers were right in trading Jack. Let me stop because this part is in all caps. And no, the Tigers were right in trading Jack F for Sweeney. They had to do it.
Yeah, and it's not just Sweeney. Like, Sweeney, even if he's not your shortstop of the future, he's still a young shortstop with upside. He might be the bridge to Bryce Rayner, whoever the everyday shortstop of the future is, but he's an upgrade from Javi Baez, Ryan Kreidler, and Zach McKinstry, defensively and offensively. So right there, it's an upgrade. However long it takes to get the next shortstop, you're in a better situation than you were before. Then you got Tyrone Lorenzo, who has potential to be the future catcher or maybe first baseman of the Tigers' future. He's absolutely raking in high A so much that they cut his season short. He's going to go out and play. I think it's in Arizona this winter. He's going to play with some really good competition. That's fantastic. Pitching's not the problem. Flaherty would be great for a series. Pitching's not the problem. We got Fetter. We got Hinch. These bullpen days, while not sustainable over a long season, we can't start 2025 with that. That's part of the reason they're on this heater, because they're outmaneuvering the other teams. It's hard to plan to play these Tigers because of that pitching staff. And the last thing before Flannel, I'll send it back to you. The guys who were all brought up, the guys who are playing right now that Flaherty's gone, now that they sold, these guys are all playing for something. They're young kids, not only in a wild card race right now, but they're playing for a chance to be a starter next year. They're playing for a major league opportunity next year. They're not on 1-year contracts playing for their next 1 or 2 year contract. They want to be a part of this big league team or any big league team. So they're playing hard and they're playing scrappy, and they have AJ Hinch pulling all the right levers. Flannel, I'm excited to hear what you got to say about this.
Talking sexy, man.
Well, I want to make this very clear. Nobody is disrespecting Jack Flaherty. Nobody's trying to imply that Jack Flaherty held the team back in any way, shape, or form. To the contrary, he was one of the best things that the Tigers had in the first half of the season. But that's also why you were able to sell him to a team that was one of the greatest contenders in Major League Baseball right now, the Dodgers, and get a pretty nice return. And Trey Sweeney so far has been a very, very nice return. And not only that, the Tigers are 22-14 since the Jack Flaherty trade. I don't know why anybody would complain about that. There's almost no way that you could possibly do better. And I would actually contend that if the Tigers stood pat or if they bought, they would actually be worse right now in the standings than where they currently are. And one of the reasons why is because, and this is something I brought up and something Neil Rule brought up, they low-key bought while selling.
Yeah.
Trey Sweeney has a 721 OPS as a shortstop, and he's played in 20 games. Do you realize how long it's been since the Tigers have had a 700 OPS shortstop? Javi Baez this season.
I was about to say, Baez wasn't cutting it?
Gee, I wonder. Javi Baez this season, 516. Ryan Kreidler, 369.
It's nasty.
Oh my God! It literally makes me want to harm myself thinking about that.
I was about to say stop.
And
I
Zach,
love you.
Yeah, I know. And Zach McKinstry, 636. And for the time that Javi Baez has been a shortstop on the Tigers, his career Tigers OPS is, what is it? Let me find that really quick. 610. Really, really bad. So the point is that Trey Sweeney, just him being somewhat competent, has really sparked this team. And as Broder said, he's the best defensive shortstop they have on the entire roster. And it's not just that. Are we sure that the Tigers would have taken the approach of letting the guys really be evaluated and develop if they would have been attempted to buy? Are we sure that they would have let Parker Meadows be an everyday player if they bought or stood pat? Are we sure about that? I'm not 100% sure, and as I said before, Parker Meadows has been the offensive MVP of this team in the months of August and September. Are we sure that they would have brought up Jace Young in August? And Jace Young, for all of his faults, for the fact that he doesn't have a lot of power, he's third on the team in on-base percentage after Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter. One of the things I liked about him, he takes his walks, he gets on base. Jace Young has been pretty much as advertised. Are we sure that Spencer Torkelson would have gotten the run that he got in August. And I know it's looked really rough lately, but he did have a 945 OPS in August. He did. And those are the type of players that have really sparked this team. And as I already mentioned, Trey Sweeney being the best shortstop on this roster, even though it was a sell job. And not just that. We talked about this too. Pitching has not been the problem since Jack Flaherty has left. They've managed as a team, and AJ Hinch has done a masterful job of this. Shout out me giving AJ Hinch credit of really managing the bullpen almost perfectly.
I got a question for that.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, after everything we've seen right now, there was a lot of people who had questions about Harris and AJ Hinch. After everything we've seen right now, are you guys confident? And it's not just you guys. I know where you all stand, but chat family, maybe this is a question that might mean something. Are you guys confident? And let me know how much more confident you are in this front office and in this rebuild plan going forward with the Detroit Tigers.
Much more confident.
There were a lot of people at the trade deadline who were not. That's the thing. And it's only been a matter of what? A couple, maybe a month and a half?
We're seeing guys all over the field right now who there were a lot of uncertainties about just absolutely balling out in August and September. I mean, I told you about Jace Young. Parker Meadows was left for dead by a lot of us, including myself. And maybe that looks like a bad take now, but when he got sent down the first time, he was hitting 096. It's been absolutely phenomenal since. Jace Young, I think, has acquitted himself well. Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter have come back from injuries and been another one of the biggest spark plugs to this team because those are the two best hitters, and they have been playing like that. And furthermore, I want to give some credit to the pitching, particularly some of the unsung bullpen guys. Some of these bullpen guys who are going to be a part of the future moving forward, which furthers my previous point as well. These are guys who have opened games. Bo Brisky, 3.07 ERA in August, 0 in September. Tyler Holton, maybe the best long reliever or non-closer reliever in baseball. 1.06 ERA in August, 0 ERA in September. Brennan Hanafy, 1.62 ERA in August, 0 in September. Brant Herter, one of the top pitching prospects in the Tigers organization prior to the season, has a 3 ERA since being called up in 33 absolutely huge innings. Ty Madden, the top pitching prospect in the Tigers organization coming into this season, 2.57 ERA with 14 innings pitched. And even Alex Faedo, I know he's injured now. I know he's not going to play again this season, but in his 5 innings in the month of August, 1.69 ERA. So the point with all of that is that I don't know if the Tigers could have done much better than they're doing now, even if they had kept Jack Flaherty. I actually think overall as a team, they would have been worse because I don't think guys like Parker Meadows would have gotten the free run that they've gotten, would have been able to play every single day. I don't think so. They might have bought an outfielder. Mark Canha was still on the team. You just never know. I just think that Tigers fans need to, and most have, for the record, I'm not saying all of you, I'm saying a select few of you, just need to be happy with the success that they've had because it's been working. They're back in the race. They're in a pennant race. And at the time they sold Jack Flaherty, they were not.
No, but they had shown enough to me that I believe that they had enough to at least still muck things up, even if they missed out on this wild card race. And to me, the reason why I asked that question about how are people feeling about this front office is because it's been a wild swing. There's a lot of people today that'll say yes. From the beginning of the season, and even through the ups and the downs, we've all stated that we're okay with the direction of the front office and AJ Hinch, though there were things that we kind of disagree with more so with Hinch than we did with Harris. We had to see a little bit more of him because he's only been here. Broder's been doing the monthly countdown. I was like 21, 22 months on the job. But where things are headed right now, and you see the way that this team is fighting. When a team is fighting, it's about who they are from a personal accountability. You know, a lot of us have played sports. A lot of us have been on teams. A lot of us have found ourselves, even organizations. It's about your personal accountability and responsibility, but it's also about what that organization is doing. If they believe in what's going on there and they're making the right selections, we want to know, can they make the right assessments? We saw with the Detroit Pistons underneath Troy Weaver, they made some good young picks, but what did they do to help that squad? To see the Tigers in what I believe to be a much more critical trade deadline than a lot of people gave credit for, that was masterful work. You sold, which wound up turning into buying at a discount. You got brand new Louis Vuitton at freaking Salvation and Royal Oak with the tag still on it, though.
That's a little easy on Louis Vuitton, but compared to what they had, is your point.
Ralph Lauren Polo.
Well, that's it. The point is, yes, the point is that you were trotting out the worst shortstop combination in MLB history. I can't verify that, but I'm pretty sure that's probably the case. Did you hear Ryan Kreidler's OPS of 369? Do I remind you again? And don't get near sharp objects when you hear that, by the way. The point is, and I think the point that you're making, though, is that Trey Sweeney, he was a Scott Harris imprint on this team. Yeah. He's already such an upgrade at shortstop to what they had. He's somebody that you didn't have to give up anything for. I mean, anything for that would be for your future. You gave up an expiring contract, which is what teams should do when they are at the time not in the race. And it just so happened that Trey Sweeney hasn't even been fantastic or anything, but a 721 OPS looks like $1 million. It looks like Louis Vuitton. It does.
I love it.
Compared to the absolute dregs that was the shortstop position for the Tigers.
I think that's where it came from me as well. Like, Javi's been there, bro. Javi's been there. So it's like what I'm seeing right now, and you guys told me at the trade deadline, this is something to believe in. Just wait and watch first, at least. Before we, because even y'all told me, you're like, you know what? I think there's something there. But let's just wait and watch. And you guys were optimistic on it. What a segment. Golly, Detroit Tigers. And it's awesome to talk about them during a time like right now.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like an F. Doesn't feel like an F trade deadline right now. It sure doesn't. And what did we say from that deadline? At least, what did I say? Said it's going to be a stretch to make the playoffs. For now, I'm focusing on these young guys and enjoying watching this team. We'll address the playoffs in September. Hey, well, we're here, Matthew Kruger, and we're talking playoffs.
I knew you
Stop making up these bullshit lies, dude.
I knew you would see it.
Yeah. You got Easy feeding him, too, and I know Easy's just
I was wondering, do I tee up some or not? I was like, we got to get into the Lions
when
and
the
lies
are thrown out there. Got to shoo the lies out of there, bro. There's so much nonsense floating around.
Dude, I couldn't agree more, man. I could not.
Hey, Broder worked it out.
He's been emboldened by the fact that his Zach Edey take worked, and I gave you credit for that, Kruger. But this one, you got to stop gatekeeping. But first,
wait, hold on. Hey, chat family, I'm telling you, we got a Tigers giveaway live right now. You got until the end of this break to woo Broder in the chat, man. Somebody's going home with that shirt he has on.
It's not Matthew Kruger.
Let's go. Take it away, fellas.